The stars were quiet, but the galaxy was not. Whispers moved between alien empires, whispers that carried an ancient warning. The old prophecy said one thing clearly: humans will rise, but they will fall fast. Many believed it. Many hoped for it. The prophecy spread like fire among the stars. To the alien rulers, it was not just a story, it was a promise. They waited for humans to appear, to fight, and to fail. But when humanity stepped into the galaxy, they did not fall. They built colonies on broken rocks. They survived in burning deserts and frozen moons. Where other species hesitated, humans dug in with iron will. To some, this was impressive. To others, it was terrifying. On the bridge of the alien flagship Zaratha's Light, Grand Strategist Chiron stood before a council of warlords. His scales shimmered under the cold lights, his golden eyes fixed on the glowing map of the galaxy. Tiny red dots marked human colonies, outposts, and warships. The red was spreading too fast. "This cannot last," Chiron hissed. "The prophecy is clear. Humans will break. We only need to push them harder." The warlords growled in agreement. They believed humans were reckless, too fragile to endure a war of empires. In their minds, humans were fire, bright, hot, but destined to burn out quickly. Far from their council, aboard the human vessel Resolute, Captain Mara Vey watched the stars with calm eyes. Her crew was tired, her ship scarred, but her spirit was steel. Reports came in every hour: attacks on human colonies, raids on trade routes, pressure from all sides. "Prophecy," she muttered with a bitter smile. "They think words written by dead priests will decide our fate?" Her second-in-command, Elias Grant, leaned against the console. "They expect us to fall, Captain. They want us to believe it too. That's why they spread it." Mara's smile turned sharp. "Then we'll give them the opposite. If they think humans will fall fast, we'll end their war even faster." The first clash came at Vega 9, a barren mining world. The alien armada descended in waves, confident they would crush the human defenders in hours. Their ships blazed with energy weapons, their fleets roaring with pride. But when the smoke cleared, it was not humans who burned. The Resolute and its escort squadrons had fought like wolves, tearing into the larger alien fleet. Human gunners fired until their hands bled. Engineers patched holes while explosions shook the decks. Fighters screamed through the void, turning alien formations into chaos. By the time the alien flagship tried to retreat, its engines were gone, ripped apart by human torpedoes. The prophecy had promised alien victory. Instead, the first battle ended with wreckage drifting across the stars, and the wreckage was not human. Word of Vega 9 spread faster than light. In hidden corners of the galaxy, species who once feared the empires began to whisper, "Maybe the prophecy was wrong. Maybe humans cannot be broken." Grand Strategist Chiron slammed his clawed hand against the table when he heard the report. His voice shook with fury. "One battle does not change destiny. We will crush them. We must crush them. The galaxy itself demands it." But deep inside, a shadow of doubt coiled around him. The humans had fought with a kind of madness he did not understand. They did not fight to win glory or territory. They fought as if losing was not an option. On Earth, the High Command gathered in a war room carved into the mountains. Screens showed fleets, colonies, and enemy movements. Generals spoke in clipped voices. Admirals traded grim numbers. Losses were real. The pressure was immense. But instead of despair, there was fire in their eyes. "We've always been told what we can't do," one general said. "We can't survive death worlds. We can't colonize barren rocks. We can't fight empires older than our species. But every time, we've proven them wrong. This will be no different." The humans knew the prophecy. They heard the whispers too. Instead of fear, it became their fuel. Captain Maravey sent a message across human space. Her voice carried strength like iron. "They said we would fall fast. They said we would break. But we are still here. And we will not stop until this war ends, not tomorrow, not next year, but now. We will end it faster than they ever imagined. In the dark void beyond Vega 9, thousands of human ships prepared for the next strike. Engines roared. Cannons gleamed. Every soldier, every pilot, every engineer knew what was at stake. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting to destroy a lie that had lived for centuries. The aliens believed the prophecy was unshakable. But soon, they would learn the truth. Humanity was not fire destined to burn out. Humanity was a storm, violent, relentless, and impossible to stop. And the storm had only begun. The wreckage of the battle at Vega 9 still floated in the void, but already the galaxy trembled. For centuries, the alien prophecy had been treated as law. Now, humans had torn its first page apart. On the alien capital world of Sayir, the Council of Stars gathered in their high chamber. Dozens of species, each with shining robes and sharp eyes, watched the holographic replay of Vega 9 in silence. Human ships, scarred and battered, had destroyed a force 3 times their size. At last, one elder broke the silence. His voice was old and heavy. This should not have happened. The prophecy promised human weakness. What we saw was human defiance. Another counselor hissed. Defiance cannot last. Their bodies are weak. Their fleets are young. We must push harder. But in the shadows of the chamber, a younger voice whispered what none wished to admit. What if the prophecy was wrong? The words hung like poison. Meanwhile, aboard the human vessel Resolute, Captain Maravay studied new reports. The aliens had lost face, but they were gathering strength. Entire armadas were on the move, converging on human space. Her second-in-command, Elias Grant, frowned as he scrolled through the data. They're not going to stop. If anything, Vega 9 just enraged them. Mara nodded. Good. Let them come. We'll make them bleed for every star. But she knew the truth. Humanity was stretched thin. Their fleets were brave but small. Their colonies were scattered and vulnerable. If the aliens struck everywhere at once, the humans would not be able to defend all. High Command on Earth understood the same. In the war room, Admiral Kerr slammed a hand on the table. We cannot play defense. If we scatter our ships, they'll crush us one by one. We must strike where it hurts most. But where? Another asked. Their empire is vast. A young strategist leaned forward, his eyes sharp. Their prophecy is their strength. It blinds them. If we shatter it completely, the galaxy will turn against them. We don't just need victory, we need humiliation. And so a plan was born. Humanity would not wait for the storm. They would become the storm. The next battle came at the edge of the Trashan Nebula. An alien fleet of 200 ships swept forward, expecting an easy kill. But hidden in the nebula, human warships waited, cloaked by gas and magnetic storms. When the aliens entered, their sensors flickered. Their formations broke. And then the humans struck. Torpedoes ripped through the mist. Railguns thundered like giants in the dark. Human fighters darted between wrecks, cutting down ship after ship. The aliens fired wildly into the nebula, but every shot hit only shadows. Within hours, the fleet was in ruins. Human losses were heavy, but the victory was crushing. The nebula burned with alien wreckage, and the humans slipped away before reinforcements arrived. The galaxy could not believe it. 2 battles, 2 victories. The prophecy was unraveling faster than anyone expected. On Sayir, Grand Strategist Chiron listened to frantic reports. His golden eyes burned with rage. These humans fight like beasts cornered. But beasts can be broken. They must be broken. His advisors shifted nervously. And if they cannot? One dared to ask. Chiron slammed his claws into the table, leaving deep marks. Then we will rewrite destiny ourselves. But in secret, even he began to feel it. The prophecy was no longer protecting them. It was betraying them. For the humans, Victory lit a fire in every heart. On colonies across the stars, miners, farmers, and workers laid down tools to take up arms. Factories roared to life, forging new weapons. Ships were patched, upgraded, and sent back into battle. Every man and woman felt the same truth: survival was no longer enough. This was their chance to prove the galaxy wrong. Captain Mara Vey addressed her crew after the Nebula battle. Her voice echoed through the ship. They said we would fall fast. They said we were weak. Look around you. Do you see weakness? Do you see fear? No. You see survivors. Fighters. Builders. We are not fire that burns out. We are the storm that never ends. And until this war is finished, the storm will rage. Her crew roared in answer, pounding their fists against the metal walls. The sound carried like thunder through the halls. But far beyond human space, the aliens prepared something darker. The Council of Empires, desperate and afraid, whispered of a weapon not used in centuries. A weapon so terrible it had been locked away by their ancestors. If humans will not fall, one warlord growled, then we will erase their worlds in fire. Let the galaxy see the cost of defiance. The prophecy had said humanity would fall fast. But now, it was the galaxy itself standing on the edge of fear. And humanity was just getting started. The galaxy shivered with unease. 2 great battles had been fought, and both ended the same way, with human victory. The prophecy that once felt unshakable now cracked like glass. But while whispers of doubt spread through alien empires, their warlords did not rest. In hidden chambers deep within the capital world of Sayir, a new council gathered. The air was thick with smoke from burning incense, their eyes glowing in the dark as a single word passed between them: the weapon. It had been buried for centuries. Forged in an age of old wars when empires consumed entire planets to win. Too dangerous, too cruel, it was locked away. But now, desperation overpowered fear. Grand Strategist Karen's voice was low, but it cut like a blade. If humans refuse to bow, then we will make their home burn. Earth will fall first. Once they lose their cradle, the rest will break. The council agreed. And so the weapon stirred. Far across the stars, on the human flagship Resolute, Captain Mara Vey stood over her map of the galaxy. The latest reports filled her mind with unease. Something was changing. Alien fleets were no longer rushing into ambushes. Instead, they were drawing back, gathering in clusters, moving with strange precision. It was not fear. It was preparation. Her second-in-command, Elias Grant, studied the data with narrowed eyes. They're planning something. Too quiet, too controlled. They've stopped underestimating us. Mara nodded. Then we find out what they're hiding. High Command agreed. Human intelligence operatives, scouts, spies, even smugglers, were sent deep into alien space. Most never returned. But one message slipped through the blockade, carried by a half-broken ship limping back to a colony. The message was simple, only 4 words long. They are building it. When the generals on Earth read the report, silence filled the war room. They knew what it meant. The archive spoke of the old alien weapon, a planet burner, able to tear the atmosphere from a world and leave only ash behind. It had been forbidden for ages, but if the aliens used it now, Earth would be the first target. Admiral Kerr's voice was iron. If they finish it, humanity ends. We can win 100 battles, and it won't matter. This is no longer just about survival. This is about stopping that weapon at any cost. The plan was simple, but deadly. Find the weapon before it is complete, and destroy it. Captain Mara Vey and the Resolute were chosen for the mission. Her crew knew what it meant. They would be striking deep into enemy space, far from help. If they were caught, there would be no rescue. But not one soul hesitated. The Resolute slipped through the dark, guided by fragments of intel and whispers from hidden allies. They crossed minefields, dodged patrols, and skimmed the edges of star systems where alien fleets massed. Every step forward was a risk. Then, at the edge of a dying star, they saw it. A massive structure floated in orbit around the black sun, bristling with towers, hangars, and glowing forges. It was no simple station. It was a factory of nightmares, the heart of the alien weapon project. The crew stared in silence. It was larger than anything they had seen before. Elias Grant whispered, "If that thing comes online." Mara's jaw tightened. "It won't." But even as she spoke, alarms screamed across their ship. They had been seen. From the shadow of the factory, alien warships emerged, dozens of them, their weapons already charging. The trap had been waiting all along. The Resolute shook as the first barrage hit. Shields flickered. Consoles sparked. The crew rushed to their stations, shouting over the chaos. "Engines at full burn. Return fire, target their lead ships. Torpedoes away." The void exploded with light. Human cannons roared, tearing into enemy hulls. Alien fire rained down like storms. The Resolute danced through the chaos, fighting with everything it had. But it was outnumbered. Every second, more enemy ships closed in. And behind them, the great weapon factory loomed, untouched. Mara Vey stood at the command deck, eyes hard as steel. She knew the truth: if they failed here, Earth itself could be destroyed. "Signal High Command," she ordered. "Tell them what we found. And tell them, we're going in." Her crew looked at her in shock. "Captain, you mean?" "Yes." Her voice was calm, final. "We're taking the fight to the weapon. No matter the cost." The humans braced themselves as the Resolute turned its battered hull toward the factory of death. Engines screamed, guns roared, and the storm surged forward. The prophecy had promised human weakness. But what came now was not weakness. It was fury. And the galaxy was about to feel it. The Resolute cut through the darkness like a blade of fire. Behind it, alien ships swarmed, their weapons flashing, but Captain Mara Vey kept her eyes locked on the massive weapon factory ahead. The factory wasn't just big. It was a monster of steel, with arms like claws and towers glowing with power. At its core, energy pulsed like the heart of a dying sun. If the aliens finished it, Earth would not survive. "Shields at 30%, shouted Elias Grant, gripping the console as sparks rained down. "Keep them up." Mara barked. "All guns forward. Clear us a path." Human cannons thundered. Torpedoes streaked into the void, smashing enemy ships apart. But for every alien vessel destroyed, 2 more closed in. The Resolute was bleeding, but it refused to fall. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Rena Torres shouted over the roar of failing systems. "We can't take this much longer. The core is overheating, 1 more direct hit and we're done." Her words carried up to the bridge. The crew knew the truth: they were on borrowed time. But Mara Vey stood tall, her voice steady. "Then we use that time well. Aim at their turrets. Strip their defenses. We're going straight into the heart of that factory." The crew answered with fire. Railguns screamed, punching holes in the enemy blockade. Fighters launched from hidden bays, weaving between alien cruisers, tearing them apart with reckless courage. Every human aboard knew the mission: survive long enough to cripple the weapon. The Resolute burst through the last wave of defenders, its hull scorched and broken, and entered the shadow of the colossal factory. Up close, it was terrifying. The size of a small moon, its surface bristled with gun platforms, hangars, and shield emitters. Energy pulsed from its core like lightning veins. Elias stared at it, pale. "How do we even kill something this big?" Mara's voice was sharp as steel. "We don't kill it, we stab its heart. Target the core. All weapons, now." The Resolute opened fire. Shells and torpedoes ripped into the factory's outer hull. Explosions bloomed across its surface, tearing open vents and chambers. But the factory fought back. Massive cannons swung toward the humans. The void lit up with beams of pure destruction. The Resolute shook, alarms screaming. Deck plates tore loose. Fires spread through the corridors. In the hangar, human marines strapped into drop pods. Sergeant Kyle Rowan checked his rifle and looked at his squad. Their faces were grim, determined. "You heard the captain," he growled. "We take the fight inside. We end this." The pods launched, streaking toward the gaping holes blasted in the factory's hull. Alien turrets tried to cut them down, but many broke through, slamming into the station's interior. The Marines spilled out into chaos, smoke, fire, and swarms of alien soldiers. Gunfire echoed through the steel corridors. Humans fought like wolves, close and brutal. Every step they took, they carved with blood. Sergeant Rowan pushed forward, blasting through a squad of defenders. His squad followed, planting charges along the power conduits. "This thing runs on a core the size of a city," Rowan shouted. "Blow the conduits, and the core will eat itself alive." Back on the Resolute, Mara listened to the Marine chatter over comms. Her jaw was tight. "Hold them together, Sergeant. We're not leaving without that core burning." The battle inside was savage. Aliens fought with blades and claws, howling in fury. Humans answered with grenades and rifles, refusing to give an inch. The corridors shook as explosions ripped through the conduits. Sparks rained from the ceilings. Rowan's voice came through, ragged but fierce. "Charges set. We just need a clean exit." But the aliens were not about to let them escape. Entire squads poured into the corridors, forcing the Marines back. On the bridge of the Resolute, Elias looked at Mara. "We can't hold here forever. We need to pull them out now." Mara's eyes burned. "No. We hold until the core goes critical. If the Resolute has to burn with it, then we burn." The factory began to tremble. Its lights flickered. A deep rumble echoed through its structure as the human charges tore open the conduits. Energy arced across the walls like lightning. "Core instability detected," Rena Torres cried from engineering. "It's working, Captain. But we're caught in the blast radius." Mara stood tall. "Then we finish the job before it finishes us." The Resolute unleashed its final volley. Every gun fired at once, a storm of fury slamming into the wounded factory. The Marines fought to their last breath inside, their charges tearing deeper into the heart. Then came the sound, the roar of a dying star. The core ruptured. Light burst outward, swallowing the void. Alien ships scattered too late. The weapon factory tore itself apart in a storm of fire and debris. The Resolute was hurled backward, its hull screaming under the shockwave. Consoles shattered. The crew clung to their stations as the ship tumbled through the burning wreckage. When the light faded, the factory was gone. Nothing remained but drifting ash and shattered steel. Silence filled the bridge. Smoke curled through the air. Sparks flickered on broken panels. Elias, blood on his face, whispered, Did we do it?" Mara's eyes stayed fixed on the burning remains. Her voice was hoarse, but unbroken. "Yes. The weapon is gone." But in her heart, she knew the war was far from over. Destroying the weapon would not end the alien wrath. It would only make them more desperate. And humanity had just painted a target larger than ever on its back. The ruins of the alien weapon factory drifted across the void like shattered bones. For a moment, there was silence. Humanity had done the impossible. They had destroyed the galaxy's most feared weapon before it could ever fire. But silence does not last in war. Across alien empires, fury boiled. Warlords slammed their fists against iron tables. Priests tore pages from the prophecy in rage. Citizens who once mocked humanity now demanded vengeance. The prophecy was crumbling, but their pride was still alive. On the capital world of Seir, Grand Strategist Chiron stood before a council of furious leaders. His golden eyes burned with hatred as he pointed to the hollow image of Earth. "The humans have gone too far. They mock our prophecy. They destroy our weapon. If we do not crush them now, every species in this galaxy will believe the humans cannot be stopped." One warlord leaned forward, his tusks gleaming. Then we burn their colonies. Not one. Not two. All of them. We will turn their victories into ash. Another added with a hiss. And when Earth itself lies in ruins, the prophecy will be rewritten, with human bones. The council roared in agreement. Their fleets were unleashed. Far away, in orbit above Mars, the Resolute limped into dock. Its hull was torn, its weapons half-broken, its crew exhausted. But the cheers of the colonies greeted them like thunder. Humanity had survived. Humanity had won. Captain Mara Vey stood before her battered crew in the hangar bay. She looked at their bruised faces, the empty spaces where friends had once stood. Her voice was strong, but heavy with the weight of loss. You fought like no army has ever fought. You faced a storm meant to erase us, and you broke it. But this war is not over. The enemy will come with everything they have. And when they do, we will be ready. The crew shouted back, their voices echoing against steel walls. They were tired, but not broken. In Earth's high command, the news spread fast. Generals and admirals watched the holoscreens as alien fleets gathered on every border. The enemy was coming in numbers too large to count. Admiral Kerr stood with hands clasped behind his back, his voice sharp. They want our colonies. They want Earth. They want humanity erased. Fine. Then we give them war they cannot imagine. Strategists outlined desperate measures, hidden minefields, ambush fleets, even scorched Earth defenses. Humanity could not match the aliens in numbers, but they could fight with cunning, with fury, with death-world resolve. And something else was happening. The galaxy was watching. In the markets of neutral worlds, whispers spread, the prophecy is broken. The humans destroyed the forbidden weapon. On planets ruled by alien empires, some dared to dream. If humans can defy destiny, maybe we can defy our masters. For the first time in centuries, the iron grip of the great empires trembled. The humans were not just fighting for themselves. Their victories were shaking the order of the galaxy itself. But the storm was coming. On the bridge of the alien dreadnought Fury of Sayir, Grand Strategist Chiron watched as his armada gathered. Thousands of ships, their weapons glowing, their engines roaring. It was a fleet large enough to blot out the stars. Bring them fear, Chiron growled. Bring them despair. Let the humans see what it means to defy destiny. His claws tightened on the rail. Deep inside, doubt gnawed at him, but he buried it under rage. He would not allow prophecy to die. Back on Earth, Mara Vey received her orders. The Resolute was repaired as best as possible, patched together with scrap and fire. Her mission was clear: lead the defense of the frontier worlds. Hold the line until reinforcements could arrive. As she studied the reports, Elias Grant leaned closer. There are too many of them, Mara. We can't fight this head-on. Mara's lips curved into a hard smile. Then we won't fight head-on. We'll bleed them from the shadows. Every system they enter will be a graveyard. Her plan spread quickly. Colonies prepared traps. Miners planted explosives in asteroid belts. Civilian ships were stripped down and armed for war. Even children carried tools to build barricades. Humanity was turning every rock, every moon, every world into a weapon. The aliens expected a clean sweep. What they would find was a nightmare. When the first wave arrived at the colony of Asteron 3, they came with over 200 warships. They expected surrender within hours. Instead, the system erupted. Mines detonated in the asteroid belt, tearing apart half a fleet. Human fighters swarmed like hornets, darting in and out, striking and vanishing. The Resolute spearheaded the defense, railguns blasting holes in alien cruisers. The battle was chaos. Alien ships burned. Human ships shattered. The colony's skies rained fire. But the aliens did not retreat. They pressed harder, desperate to crush humanity's spirit. On the ground, civilians fought beside soldiers. Farmers picked up rifles. Engineers rigged fuel tanks into bombs. The aliens came expecting weakness, they found fury. From the command deck, Mara Vey gave her final order. No retreat. No surrender. We hold this colony, or we die with it. The humans fought with everything they had. And though Asteron 3 burned, it did not fall. The prophecy had said humans would fall fast. But now, the galaxy saw something terrifying. Not only were humans still standing, they were winning battles they should not have survived. And the war was only growing darker. The war spread like fire across the stars. Every colony, every outpost, every ship was pulled into the storm. Humanity fought with fury, turning every world into a battlefield. The aliens struck with overwhelming numbers, but every victory cost them blood. And the galaxy was watching. On neutral trade stations, merchants whispered in hidden corners. On worlds ruled by alien empires, workers spoke in hushed voices. Everywhere, one question spread: how are the humans still alive? The prophecy had promised human weakness. But now, humans were shattering fleets, destroying weapons, and defying death itself. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt something dangerous. Hope. On the world of Zeltra, a species enslaved by the empires for generations, a young leader named Torin spoke to his people. If humans can fight, why not us? If they can bleed the empires, then maybe we can be free. His words spread like fire. Rebellion stirred. The empires tried to crush the whispers, but they could not stop them. The more humans fought, the louder the whispers grew. But Grand Strategist Chiron saw it too. In the war chamber of the dreadnought Fury of Sayir, he studied reports of colonies lost, fleets shattered, and rebellions rising. His claws dug into the metal table. They are poisoning the galaxy with their defiance, he growled. If we do not end them soon, the prophecy will be forgotten, and the empires will crumble. One of his commanders hesitated. The humans have proven more dangerous than expected. Perhaps the prophecy was wrong. Charon's strike was swift. His claws tore the throat of the commander in a flash of blood. Silence followed. The prophecy is not wrong, he hissed. It is the galaxy that must be corrected. Prepare the ultimate strike. We will gather every fleet, every weapon. We will burn Earth itself. The council obeyed, but in their eyes flickered fear. Back in human space, Captain Mara Vey stood with Admiral Kerr in Earth's mountain war room. Holoscreens glowed with alien movements. Massive fleets were gathering, larger than anything seen before. They're coming for Earth, Kerr said grimly. This will be the heart of the war. If Earth falls, humanity falls. Mara nodded. Then Earth must not fall. We've fought them in the dark. We've bled them in the shadows. Now we show the galaxy what humans are when the storm truly breaks. Her words spread across human fleets. Soldiers sharpened their blades. Pilots checked their fighters. Civilians prepared shelters, weapons, even traps in the streets. Every human, young or old, knew the truth. The war was coming home. But help was coming too. From the edge of neutral space, strange signals reached Earth. Ships arrived in secret, carrying supplies and weapons. Not alien warships, yet, but smugglers, rebels, and defectors. Species once ruled by the empires now risked everything to aid humanity. A rebel leader named Torin sent a message to Mara Vey. His face appeared on her screen, scarred but proud. You fight not only for yourselves. You fight for all of us. We will help you. Small now, but growing. Every day, more of us turn against the empires. Hold the line, human. Do not fall. Mara's crew listened, silent but burning with pride. Humanity was no longer fighting alone. The galaxy itself was beginning to choose sides. Yet the storm was massive. At the edge of the Orion Rift, alien fleets gathered like a sea of fire. Thousands of ships, their weapons glowing red, their engines shaking the void. At their heart stood the Fury of Sayir, its black hull blazing with energy. Chiron looked out at his armada. His voice carried like thunder. This is the end. No more colonies. No more skirmishes. We strike at their cradle. Earth will burn, and with it, the prophecy will live again. His warlords roared in answer. The fleets began their march. On Earth, alarms echoed across the skies. Civilian screens lit up with warnings. Families rushed to shelters. Fleets took formation above the blue planet. Mara Vey stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her crew ready beside her. The ship was battered from past battles, patched with steel and scars, but its spirit was unbroken. Elias Grant looked at her. "This is it, isn't it?" "Yes," she answered, eyes hard. The final storm. The first alien fleets appeared at the edge of the system. Thousands of lights filled the darkness like a burning sea. Humanity's defenders tightened their ranks. The storm was here. The prophecy had promised humans would fall fast. But now, at the gates of Earth itself, the galaxy would learn the truth. Humans were not a spark to be blown out. They were the firestorm. And the firestorm was about to meet the greatest armada in history. The void around Earth blazed with light. Alien fleets poured into the system, endless waves of firepower, engines, and weapons. The Fury of Sayir led the charge, its black hull glowing with power like a living storm. Inside its command chamber, Grand Strategist Chiron stood tall, eyes fixed on the blue planet ahead. "This is where humanity ends," he hissed. "Burn it. Leave nothing alive." The alien armada surged forward. But humanity was ready. Above Earth, fleets of battered human warships formed into tight lines. They were smaller, fewer, scarred from endless battles, but their formation was perfect. Every ship knew its place. Every soldier knew this was the final stand. On the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Mara Vey looked at her crew. "They think this is our grave," she said, her voice steady. "Let's make it theirs." Her words cut through the fear. Every man and woman on the bridge straightened, their eyes burning. The first wave of alien ships charged. Beams of plasma lit the void. Explosions rocked the human fleet. But humanity fired back with brutal precision. Railguns tore holes through alien hulls. Nuclear warheads flashed white-hot, ripping ships apart. The aliens expected humans to break, to scatter under the storm. But the humans held. Wave after wave crashed against them, and still the lines did not fall. Human ships fought like wolves, bleeding, scarred, but biting back harder every time. Chiron snarled, slamming his claws against the control rail. How are they still standing?" His officers trembled, but none dared answer. Then, something unexpected happened. From the far edges of the system, ships appeared. Not human, alien. But they were not part of Charon's fleet. These were smaller, ragged, patched with stolen parts, rebel ships. Torin's voice rang through human channels. "You are not alone, humans. We rise with you." Dozens of rebel fleets plunged into the fight, striking at the Empire's rear. Alien ships turned in shock as their own kind fired on them. Chaos spread through Charon's armada. But the strategist roared, his voice shaking the chamber. "Crush the traitors. Focus on Earth." The battle raged hotter. The sky above Earth burned with fire and wreckage. Cities trembled as fragments of ships rained down. On the ground, civilians hid in shelters, praying, waiting. Some did not wait, they armed themselves, ready to fight in the streets if invaders landed. Humanity refused to bow. On the Resolute, alarms screamed. A plasma blast tore through the hull. Sparks filled the bridge. Elias Grant gripped his console, blood running down his forehead. "We can't take much more, Captain." Mara's jaw clenched. She stared at the Fury of Sayir, looming like a black mountain among the stars. "Then we end this. If their commander falls, their fleet will break." Every human ship received her command. The order was simple, direct, final. Target the Fury. The fleets shifted, battered ships pulling into one last formation. Fighters swarmed. Carriers opened fire. Missiles, railguns, lasers, all focused on one monster in the dark. Chiron felt it. His ship shook under the combined assault. His fury boiled. Do they think they can kill me? I am prophecy. I am destiny. He unleashed the Fury's ultimate weapon, a massive beam of crimson energy. It tore through human ships, shattering steel, scattering fire across the void. Dozens of vessels were lost in seconds. But the humans did not stop. More missiles streaked in. More cannons roared. Mara's ship, the Resolute, charged straight into the storm. Fires burned across its hull, alarms screamed, but its engines roared forward. Direct hit on their shield. Elias shouted. One more strike could break it. Then give it everything, Mara commanded. The Resolute fired its last warheads, even as alien weapons tore into its side. The missiles streaked forward, breaking through the Fury's shield and slamming into its core. The dreadnought shuddered, flames bursting from its hull. Chiron staggered, eyes wide with disbelief. No. This cannot be. The Resolute, broken and burning, rammed forward with its final strength. It crashed into the Fury of Seir, a blinding explosion tearing through both ships. The shockwave ripped across the battlefield. Alien ships faltered, their command lost. Rebel fleets pressed harder. Humanity struck with renewed fury. The armada broke. Ships scattered, fleeing into the void. Some surrendered, some burned, some simply vanished into the dark. And Earth still stood. The prophecy had said humans would fall fast. Instead, the humans ended the war faster than anyone believed possible. In the aftermath, survivors looked up at the smoking sky. Civilians emerged from shelters. Soldiers wept and cheered. Tauran's rebels transmitted a final message to Earth. Your fight lit the fire. The galaxy will never forget. You are not just survivors. You are the storm that broke the chains. On Earth, in the ruins of the war room, Admiral Kerr whispered the truth. We were never the ones to fear the prophecy. It was them. They feared us. And now they know why. Humanity had survived. Humanity had won. And across the galaxy, every empire now knew one thing. When humans rise, no prophecy can stop them.